Good evening. The next question of chapter number 13 nuclei NCERT question. It is example number 13.3. I am reading the question. Find the energy equivalent to one atomic mass unit first in joules and then in mega electron volt. We have to find the value of energy first in joules with respect to one atomic mass unit and then in mega electron volt. Now using the expression of energy, we have to express the mass defect of oxygen in mega electron volt per c square. So the given values are only the value of mass defect, which has to be expressed in mega electron volt per c square, and only energy is being given to us, to calculate the energy for one atomic mass unit. So as you can see, we have written these two things which we have to find: mass defect in mega electron volt and energy of one atomic mass unit. As we know that the energy of one atomic mass unit is mc square. So m is a mass, 1 u will be 1.67 10 to the power minus 27. Value of c is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second, which will be squared. So on calculating the energy, we will be getting the energy in joules as 1.492 10 to the power minus 10. To convert the energy from joules to electron volt, we will divide with 1.6 10 to the power minus 19. This is a process of conversion from joules to electron volt. Now second thing, I have to convert this value in mega electron volt, that is the energy to be presented in mega electron volt. So what we have to do, we have to multiply, as we all know that 1 mega electron volt is 10 to the power 6 electron volt. So here on calculation we get 931.5 mega electron volt. This is not written nothing, just the value of energy in mega electron volt is 931.5 mega electron volt. Now we know that energy is equals to E is equals to mc square. So the mass will be energy by c square. So to represent the mass defect in mega electron volt per c square, we will see this value, that is we will be take the help of this equation, as this equation will represent the mass in terms of mega electron volt per c square. So if it is one atomic mass unit, it will be 931.5 mega electron volt per c square. Now we have to use this expression to give the mass defect of oxygen. So mass defect relation of oxygen is given as this equation. This is a mass defect equation. This is the mass of nucleus and mass of protons with the mass of neutrons multiplied with the numbers of protons and neutrons. As the oxygen consists of 8 protons and 8 neutrons, you can see here mass of 8 protons will be, we have to multiply the value of each individual proton's mass with the number 8. All these values are given in your questions, so you can go and see in the questions itself, because these are all constant values, they will be provided in the question itself. So as I multiply 8 multiplied by the mass of one proton, it will be this much value. Similarly, mass of 8 neutron, as you can see here, 8 into this value, this is the value of 1 neutron, you will be getting 8.06928 atomic mass unit. The total mass of nucleus will be mass of protons plus mass of neutrons. It is provided as 16.12744 atomic mass unit. Now if I have to find the mass of nucleus, actually these are all constant values, it will be provided in the question itself. So from there it is also a given value. Only the given values are mass of one single neutron, one single proton and mass of oxygen nucleus. Now to find the exact value of mass defect, what is the relation? The relation is summation of masses of protons and neutrons with which will be subtracted from the mass of the nucleus of oxygen. So after subtraction we get this value. Now the energy is given as del mc square, but we have to represent it in mega electron volt per c square, as we have discussed in the previous area that energy can be represented if we use the expression E is equals to mc square, as mass is equals to energy per c square. So energy is given in mega electron volt per c square. So in this way, if I have to represent it, then the mass energy can be written as del mc square. So that del m is how much? Del m is this value multiplied by the energy, that is 931 MeV, the mega electron volt upon c square. On multiplying, we are getting 127.5 mega electron volt upon c square. I repeat, we have to express the mass defect in mega electron volt per c square. So mega electron volt per c square means only representing the mass defect. We are not calculating the energy. We have to represent this mass defect in terms of mega electron volt upon c square. So mass in terms of mega electron volt upon c square is this much. So if it will be del m, then it will be how much? Del m multiplied by whatever value of mass mega electron volt upon c square, that is 931.5. In this way we can express the mass defect in mega electron volt upon c square. Now coming to the next question, that is example 13.4. Here a question which is related to the half-life. So to start with the question, it is given in your NCERT textbook, example 13.4. I am reading the question here. The question states that the half-life of uranium U-238 undergoing alpha decay is 4.5 10 to the power 9 years. What is the activity of 1 gram sample of 238-92? When we say activity, it is actually asking us the disintegration taking place per second. So there are two meanings of activity, or you can say it is represented in both the terms as activity. If it is activity, then the mathematical relation is R is equals to n lambda. And if instead of activity, if they are asking disintegration per second, then also I can write R is equals to n lambda. Both are same. So what is given here? It is given half-life is 4.5 10 to the power 9 years, and we have to find what is the activity, that is disintegration per constant. So disintegration is how much? Lambda n. Okay, so value of lambda is how much? It is constant. Lambda, value of lambda is 0.693 upon the half-life period, half-life, that is t to the base half multiplied by n. Now what is n? Small, it is capital N. So capital N is calculated with respect to an equation which we have studied, that is, it is the mass upon the molar mass, which will be equal to n upon the Avogadro's number. So this is the relation which will establish the value of n. So from this equation, if I try to find out the value of n, it will be Na upon the molar mass, that is capital M. So what we will do, we will substitute the value of n in terms of mass, Avogadro's number and molar mass. So our equation will rechange as R is equals to, where R represents the disintegration per constant, or it is the activity, 0.63 m mass multiplied by Avogadro's number upon t to the base half multiplied by the molar mass. Now we have all the values, we can substitute the values. This is the constant. Since it is the value of mass is 1, we have to assume it as 1. Then Avogadro's number is 6.023 10 to the power 23. Then half-life is given as 4.5 10 to the power 9 years. And the molar mass, that is, it is years. 4.5 10 to the power 9, it is given in years. We have converted this in seconds. So how we have converted in seconds? Multiplied by the number of days, multiplied by number of hours, and multiplied by the number of seconds. If we do this one, then this 4.9 10 to the power 9 will be converted in seconds from years, multiplied by the molar mass, which is U238. So if I calculate everything, I will be getting 1.2 10 to the power 4 disintegration per second. So what is disintegration per second? It is same as that of the activity, using the relation R is equals to n lambda. Lambda is your decay constant, related as 0.693 upon t to the base half, and capital N is related with respect to this equation. So basically we are using three equations and we are resubstituting the values of n, and finally we'll get our results. Okay, thank you.